Good morning, guys. It's lovely morning. Got a bit of a break in the weather. Has been sort of strong winds and some rain, but forecast is a few hours of clear weather. So I had some time off work and thought that I'd get out today. Bit of a change today. I'm not going to the woods. I'm going to some hills. I've got some local sort of foothills just at the back of the city where I live. So decided to go and have a wander. So I'll bring you along today and show you some of the views and anything of interest to see as well. Okay, catch up with you soon. You know, a lot of people go on about these wind farms and how they spoil the landscape. And to a certain extent they do. But one thing for me that's far, far worse, and where the wind farms tend to be localised to one area, these electricity pylons are everywhere across the country, and I think they're just an eyesore and really do spoil the landscape. Oh, just spotted a deer, just cresting that hill there. It's just spotted me and stopped, assessing whether I'm any threat or not to it. And there it goes, on its way. That's actually the second deer I've seen today. But anyway, back to the pylons and my little moan. Yeah, I wish with all the money that's ploughed into new technologies and new energy sources, I truly hope that one day, within my lifetime anyway, that we'll be able to get rid of all these electricity pylons, because I really, really don't like them. And I know they're a necessity, we need them to bring electricity into the house, but yeah, I just don't like them. There we go, rant over for the day. Many years ago when I was a youth, I spent many a time up these hills, camping and walking and just exploring, having lots of fun as you do when you're young. And as I've gotten older, to be honest, I've not spent much time up here. I suppose it was convenient. It was nice and close to the city, so you were able to walk or bike to it. And then when you get older and you get a car, you tend to travel further and explore new areas. And yeah, it's been quite a few years since I've been up here, and a lot has changed by the look of it. I'm just coming up to a forest, just past that last pylon there. We'll not talk about the pylons any longer, but the that's certainly, can't remember that being there when I was younger. And a lot more vegetation here as well than there used to be. There was a lot of quarrying done up these hills, so I don't remember it being quite as lush in vegetation as that. But yeah, that forest looks interesting. Some houses down there. But, might be worth exploring that area for a future overnight camp. And those needles are just lethal. I believe you can eat the flowers off the gorse bush. If somebody would like to confirm that, that would be great. But I believe you can eat them. I have tried one. Tastes like plant to me, but there we go. So seeing a bit of the a lot of the old quarried stone that I mentioned earlier. So years ago, these whole hills used to be covered in that stuff. And that's where we're going, up there. Or maybe up there. We'll see. But again, more of that gorse. That's another deer. Got very close this time. So we're about halfway up, and I thought I'd just give you a view. That river you see in the distance is the River Tay. That's looking over to Perth way. That's north, and if you keep going that way and walk for a fair bit and a fair bit and a fair bit, you'll eventually hit the Cairngorms. And the sun is making a welcome appearance as well. Right guys, I'm going to crack on and get to the top of this. So we're almost at the top. Wind's picked up a bit the higher we've gotten. That's the hills leading towards Perth over there. That's the River Tay. And I believe that one of the hills over there is a hill called Dunsinane. It was a hill fort. And for those of you who know Shakespeare, that's in Macbeth. So here we are at the top, and I'll say one thing: I'm unfit, and I think the winter's just been a bit too long for me not getting out. But stunning views, so I shall give you a 360 view and see what you think. So I think you'll agree, well worth the walk. Lovely day and absolutely fantastic views. Very, very clear, so you can see quite a distance away. So I think I'm just going to find a spot and maybe get the kettle on for a brew and take sort of a 5-minute breather. So, had my brew, nice cup of coffee, packed everything away, and we've just come off a hill over the other side of there, and we're dropping down a bit, and we're just going to head up to there. Looks like there's a trig point just at the top, and we'll see what's there. Again, lovely views. I don't know if you can pick up on the camera, but you can see the weather just started. So here we are. It's a memorial to a chap called Sidney Scroggie. Sid Scroggie was a poet, and he spent a lot of his time walking in the hills, and Sid Scroggie was actually blind. And an interesting fact, his brother actually married my wife and I. So yeah, I've actually got a book of his poems in the house, quite an old book, but he spent a lot of his time up here in the Sidlaws. Man of the hills, it says there. So that was erected back in June 2000, and this hill is 1,322 feet. That's the weather just closing in now. I kind of expected it, but you can see it there, and that's the rain now starting to fall. I just had a thought as I was walking up here as well. As I mentioned earlier, I spent a lot of my time as a youth up here, and in the late 80s, a group of friends and I, accompanied with Lofty's trusty survival handbook, we built a stone shelter up here, and it was quite a substantial stone shelter. It was fairly impressive, if I do say so myself, including things like a stone fireplace and that in it. And we spent a few nights in that shelter. It would be interesting to know if that shelter was still about. I might try and find it at some point. Yeah, certainly brings back memories. Good old Lofty Wiseman and his survival handbook. Interesting enough, I took that same handbook to the Bushcraft show this year and actually got Lofty to sign it, and his first comment was, "Wow, that's an old book." In fact, if I remember rightly, as we were building that stone shelter, I lost a Victorinox Swiss Army Champ knife. I loved that knife. It's funny how memories come flooding back when you haven't been somewhere for many a year. I think that Swiss Champ was actually my first pen knife. I've never had a Swiss Champ since. I don't even know if you still get them. They were a big chunky knife, they had every attachment in it. So talking about the Bushcraft show, obviously Bushcraft show 2014, there was a lot of feedback. Myself included gave some feedback on that. So I think it's only fair that we give some feedback to Bushcraft show 2015. And on the whole, I would say it was an absolutely fantastic show. Obviously a new venue, I'll go this way, and the actual showground itself I think was just fantastic. The layout was so much better than the previous 2 years. This was the third year we'd been. The camping area, it was certainly crowded. No getting away from that, it was very crowded in fact. And you could live with that as long as people were responsible. And on the whole, people were pretty much responsible. I had to speak to one group of campers camping next to ourselves who thought it would be good fun to burn some paper in their open fire. So after a few words from myself, that certainly didn't happen again. But other than that, you know, I had my concerns at the start of the show with how crowded it was, but I had no real issues at all. We got there early enough, we camped out our own space that we needed, and thoroughly enjoyed it. From the 3 shows we've been to, I have to say this is probably the best show. A lot of it's to do with the fact that I know more people there. Met a lot of people last year, got to meet up with them again this year, and on the whole, a big part of why I go back to the show is to meet up with people. You know, you talk to them throughout the year via YouTube and Facebook, but it's nice to meet up. And because we're up here in Scotland, we don't really get a chance to go down to things like the preppers meet and actually meet up with people. So it was great to meet up with people again at the Bushcraft show and just have a catch up. And it was good to meet a few more guys down there. Mr. Skiddy, spoken to you a few times via Facebook and that, and YouTube, but it's great to meet up with you. Beard de Clam, great to meet you for the first time. Scott from Wessex Blades, if you remember, he was on my video from last year's Bushcraft show, playing the banjos as we were out in the canoe. So it was good to actually meet him face to face this year, and great to see his range of knives as well, which is on a couple of my other videos. and Dusky Pilgrim again. It was great to meet up with him. We've chatted quite a lot throughout the year, so it was great meeting up with him again. But yeah, so Bushcraft Show 2015, big thumbs up. No complaints at all about it, to be honest. I had a thoroughly great time, and to be quite honest, going down to Bushcraft Show this year, had it been a repeat of last year's show, we had spoken about not going back again to Bushcraft Show, maybe trying someplace like the Wilderness Gathering instead. But we all had so much fun this year that yeah, we as soon as the tickets come out, which is normally sort of September, October time, we will be getting our tickets for Bushcraft Show 2016. So well done organisers, it was a great show this year. So hopefully the next video you should see from me should be an overnighter somewhere. Whether it's camping someplace or whether it's off out into the wilds for a wild camp, I'm not quite sure. And that's going to depend a lot on the weather as well. And I'm also hoping to get some more solo camps in this year as well. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. I certainly have enjoyed making this one. It's been nice to get out. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers, guys.